Hey bookworms!
This is BookMouse.
And I'm Book Kitty, and this is
Our
our Book Nook.
This week we're going to be checking out Necrotech by Casey Alexander.
It is the first in a possibly 2-book series, hopefully more.
Street thug Riko has some serious issues. Memories wiped, reputation tanked, girlfriend turned into a tech-fueled zombie. And the only people who can help are the mercenaries who think she screwed them over. In an apathetic society devoid of ethics or regulation, where fusing tech and flesh can mean a killing edge or a killer conversion, a massive conspiracy is unfolding that will alter the course of the human condition forever. With corporate meatheads on her ass and a necro-tech blight between her and salvation, Riko is going to have to fight meaner, work smarter, and push harder than she's ever had to. And that's just to make it through the day.
Sometimes when I'm in a mood for a book, but I don't know what I want to read or what author I'm in the mood for, I will go to the bookstore, grab something off the shelf, and read the first chapter to see if it grabs me. I happened to grab this book. I was into the second chapter, heading for the third, and still standing in the bookstore aisle. It caught me in the first paragraph. I had to have this book so I could know what was going to happen. It's one of those books.
She builds a really good world.
That, I think, was crucial to the story, is building the griminess of the world, the horror that they're living in every day.
I mean, you get glimpses into what's going on in the rest of her environment that isn't necessarily happening in the story. You get glimpses into the street life, you get glimpses into the corporate life, you get glimpses into the mercenary life, which our main character, our heroine, as you will, Riko, is, what did they call it?
A splatter specialist.
That's right, a splatter specialist. And splatter she did.
Yes. So this is a world set in the future, but we don't know when. We just know that the technology has advanced so far that tech is integrated into the human body. But unlike a lot of science fiction books, I felt that this book did a better job of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some books, they go overboard.
Overpowering.
You're the cybernetic, your arm can do anything. But this book, the tech can only do what the body can handle. If your body can't handle what the tech's putting out, it will tear your body apart. And I felt that was a realism that made the book more relatable and believable.
Realistic.
Yeah, realistic. You read these books, you're like, oh, that'll never happen. I mean,
there's a lot of sci-fi out there nowadays that doesn't really balance out between the science and the fiction. And so you get a lot of books that gloss over the science in the book. They kind of explain that this thing does this and it was developed over blah 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 time with blah 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 sacrifices, but they don't really go into the science of how it works or why it breaks the laws of physics.
Yes.
Why this small frame girl can punch through a concrete wall, you know. It doesn't really explain how that's possible. This one, it doesn't go too far into the science for people who aren't really into that much description, but it gives you enough to kind of balance it out.
It does. It touches enough to make you in the back brain say, I see that. I see that this is possible. And instead of just feeling like
how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. And it's nice to know that the tech is separated out a little bit. You can go one direction or another, but there's not somebody out there who has all the tech possible, you know, bionic eye, artificial limb, ability to link to the broadband.
Because nobody can handle all of it.
No, you're still powered by your brain.
Which, to bring up that point, they have a chipset in. Similar to the book we reviewed in our first video feed, they have a microchip that's in their brain stem, I believe, in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called SIN. The number attached with it that you're born with, if you're born, on the grid. You have a SIN, a
Serial ID number.
Yeah, serial identification number. And
this is really ironic. So the words saint and sinner have connotations in our world.
Saint as do many words.
Yes. And saint is the good word and sinner is the bad word. But in this world, if you have a sin, you're a sinner. But if you've had yours excised illegally and you no longer can be tracked that way, you're considered a saint. And I just found that really ironic, and I liked the way she twisted the terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got your sinners that are in these clean corporate quarters with, you know, tailor-made suits and actual water showers. And then you've got the saints that are the ones that are in the grimy cities with radiation showers and no actual water and, you know, doing the dirty jobs and, you know, becoming mercenaries and spider specialists.
So I really felt that
hackers.
Or hackers.
Called linkers. They help their teammates. It's
I like
really
the
great
team
world.
building.
Yeah. Real great team building, real good, which is funny because she's building up the team to us as readers, but for the entirety of the book, the team isn't actually together. And that's what I loved about it. It played out like, I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons lately, and so does BookMouse here. She is a brutal tank, and it plays out like a D&D campaign, except for the fact that the cliche start of a D&D campaign where you wake up alone, naked, no equipment, in a jail cell with 4 other people you don't know. It's sort of like that, but it's got a twist because she wakes up alone, not 4 other people, no memory of what happened, thinking she just got really fucked up last night. Haven't we all been there? And doesn't know where she is or where she crashed out for the night or what happened. And she's like, man, what did I take? But then you find out there's so much more to her missing memory and where she woke up and why. It just, you start the book with like 5 or 6 questions and you end with multitude of questions because you just want more. And that's what the author does, is she leaves you wanting more, just like she should.
And the nice thing too, the answers just don't come easy. You know, it's not tied up with a bow. It's not a piece of cake.
She has to make some major sacrifices.
Major sacrifices. She has to work for it.
Hard.
She has to work hard.
She ends up almost, you won't know this until you read the book, she ends up almost corrupted like 3 or 4 times.
Just like,
which is basically asking for death.
Yeah. But she's willing to take these risks to get the answers she needs. Mm-hmm. The answers everybody needs. And I felt
it's one of those places where a personal journey kind of turns out to be also a world-saving journey.
It was. And I love that clear dividing line between the haves and the have-nots.
No middle class.
No middle class. Better domes, poorer domes. I mean, nobody lives outside the dome. It's a radiated wasteland. But
sound familiar?
Who gets the better equipment? Who gets the better food? Who gets
the water?
Yeah. And I just really loved the character building, the pictures she paints, the words she uses to describe things. I can see it.
It was there.
I could smell the garbage piling in the streets. And
the urine.
The urine and the just decay of the people.
The metal. I could smell the metal. Because, you know, she has a bionic arm. Look at that. She's got a bionic arm. I think it's her left arm. And she calls her metal arm and her flesh arm, and I love it.
And I just really think that Casey Alexander did a great job with her SINless #1. Mm-hmm. I think that resolving some issues but leaving some hanging lets you be hungry and let you think, well, what could it be? What could it be? And now I got to get the next book to find out if I'm right.
Yes. And I know I've mentioned before that character development is something that I really look for in a book. That's one of the things that I focus on. And in this book, there really isn't a whole lot of character growth in our main character, Riko. Not really throughout the book. She makes a little at the end, or at least more like makes an indication toward the desire to change and grow. But throughout the whole book, she's angry. She's looking for revenge. She's looking for answers. She's indignant. She's just bullheaded. and sometimes could make some smarter decisions about how to go about getting the answer she wants, but she likes to hit things. And that's kind of her default. And so she just kind of stays the same throughout. But I liked that because it really gave us a good sense of who she is, where she's starting out, because clearly there's more to come. And I think going forward, we may see some growth in Riko and maybe, what was it? Nanoshock. Book 2 is Nanoshock.
And I think, too, with her chunk of memory missing, she doesn't have time for growth right now because she's trying to recapture what she lost.
To get answers.
She needs to capture what she lost to figure out where she is so she knows where she's going.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that really makes you become invested in the character. You want her to find the answers. You hope she finds the answers. And
makes amends.
And makes amends, definitely. And I definitely enjoy books better when I feel invested in them.
I mean, it starts right in the middle of the action. It doesn't start with a slow build-up at all. As you mentioned, you couldn't stop at the bookstore. As soon as I started, I read it in a day. I could not put it down. I had friends coming into my house and being like, hey, how are you? Just stopping by. And I'm like, nice to see you. I need to read. And I just kept reading all day long until, I finished it, 11:30 at night. And she was already in bed, but I texted her, and I'm like, oh my God, that book! What?
Yes.
And then she's like, I think there's another one. There's a lot of questions. And I'm like, there is! I Google it right then and there. I'm like, there is another one.
So that's on my shopping. Yes, it is already on my shopping list.
If you want us to do a review on it, it's not going to be our default because we're trying to stick to one per series. But if you want us to do a review on it because you've read Necrotech or you're interested in it, leave us a comment below and make sure to give us a thumbs up so that we know you're there and that you want it. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we'll be diving into the world of The Alchemist.
It is the first book in the series, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, a New York Times bestselling series.
So don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and give us a thumbs up so that you get to know when we post.
This has been BookMouse.
And I'm Book Kitty. And this is us
signing off.